Hello everyone. Today is part one of the crochet along to make this adorable little Santa holiday toilet paper cover. So part one is going to consist of making the head and the body of our Santa. So this is pretty simple, this method here. So we're just going to start working double crochets in the round, and then we're going to switch to single crochet, increasing until we get to the size of the top of the toilet paper holder. And then we're going to just work even in pink, red, change to a half double crochet, and then finish working with single crochet. It's a very easy beginning to our Santa. Part one will only be this part, so if you want to make these for, say, a craft show or for gifts, this is a good way to get a couple of these made up until part two is released, and then we'll proceed with the other parts. So he is going to be made exactly as the instructions are saying from how I put it together, and this is a crochet and put together as you go. So part two, we're going to be making the arms. We'll attach the arms because the arms need to be attached before you put this crochet looping around his face. So again, this is part one, and this is what we're going to do today. And I will try to get these videos released as fast as possible as I'm making this second Santa. For this Santa, for this today, you're going to need, you can use any brand of yarn. I prefer Red Heart Super Saver. It's extremely durable. It holds up excellent, and it's just a wonderful yarn to use. So I'm using Red Heart Super Saver in cherry red, black, and petal pink. Now for this face, if you don't want pink, I chose pink because if he's out in the cold, you're going to have a pink face from the cold. So you can use more of a skin tone if you prefer. So you do not have to use the pink. So you can use whatever color you want for this face, and that's this part here. I'm going to go ahead and show you the material list. So here's the material list. You're going to need 3.5 ounces of red, 2 ounces of white, 2 ounces of pink, a half an ounce of green, a half an ounce of black, a few yards of yellow, a small amount of stuffing, and yarn needle. You're going to need 1 mega roll of toilet paper. You're going to need a crochet hook size I9 or 5.5 millimeter for the tutorial for this Santa. You won't need all of this today. All you're going to need is your pink for the face, or whatever color you choose, your red, and your black. You're going to need a little bit of stuffing, and that's all you'll need for today, and 1 mega roll of toilet paper. So that's the material list for the Merry Santa toilet paper holder. So let's get started in part one of this crochet along and get his head and body made. I'll be right back and get this project started. So I have my yarn attached to my hook, and I just made a double knot. So that's my loop, and I'm going to go ahead and start with a chain 4. Now make sure you do this first chain loose, yarn over, pull through, that's 1, yarn over, pull through, 2, yarn over, pull through, that's 3, yarn over, pull through, that's 4. So we have our chain 4. Now we're going to work 11 double crochet into this 4th chain from hook. So we're going to skip the first 3 chain, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, insert into that 4th chain from hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. That's how you do a double crochet. Now once you make several stitches, this will open up and allow you to put all those stitches in that chain. So our chain 3 counts as the first double crochet. That skipped chain 3, and we worked 1 double crochet into that 4th chain from hook. Now we need to make 10 more double crochet all in that 4th chain from hook, all in that same chain. So yarn over, insert into that chain, and work a double crochet. This is 2 of the 11, 1, 2. Yarn over, insert into that same chain, and work a double crochet. That's 3. Yarn over, insert into that chain, work a double crochet. That's 4. You're going to continue until you have a total of 11 double crochet plus your chain 3. So go ahead, we made 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to make 7 more, and I will meet you at the end of round 1 and show you how to join. I'm over at the end of round 1, and you should have your beginning chain 3 and then 11 double crochet around, and we're going to join with a slip stitch in the top of that beginning chain 3. So count up 1, 2, 3, insert your hook into the top of that beginning chain 3, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on your hook. You should have a total of 12 double crochet stitches, counting that beginning chain 3. So now for round 2 is a very simple round. We're going to begin with the chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and this counts as our first double crochet. We're going to work another double crochet all in this same beginning chain 3 stitch. So we're going right over here on the left side of that chain 3, yarn over, insert into that same stitch, and work a double crochet. To finish the round, we're going to work 2 double crochet into each double crochet around. So yarn over, insert into that next stitch, and work a double crochet. Yarn over, insert into that same stitch, and work your second double crochet. Let me show you one more time. Yarn over, insert into that next double crochet, and we're going to work 2 double crochet stitches all in that same stitch. There's 1. Yarn over, insert into that same double crochet stitch, and work your second double crochet. So that's all there is to it. So go ahead and work 2 double crochet in each double crochet stitch around. I will meet you at the end of round 2 and show you how to join. I'm over at the end of round 2, and you should have your beginning chain 3, and then you should have a total of 23 double crochet around, and that equals 24 double crochet because this beginning chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. Now if you are new to working in the round, I always try to bring it to people's attention because a lot of times new crocheters always think that this is a stitch. This is what I call the joining bar. This is not a stitch, so you have to be very careful when you are new to crocheting that you do not crochet into this joining bar. So we're just going to skip this joining bar and count up 1, 2, 3, insert into the top of that beginning chain 3, and slip stitch, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on your hook. So round 2 is finished. Now we're going to switch to working in single crochet. So we're going to begin our round with a chain 1. We're going to single crochet into the same beginning stitch. So you're going to look at the top of that chain 3 space. You're going to go right into that little space right here on the left, insert your hook, and work a single crochet. We're going to work 2 single crochet into the next stitch. So insert in under the top 2 loops of that next stitch and work 2 single crochet. There's 1, insert into that same stitch and work your second single crochet. Now we're going to start our repeat. We're going to work 1 single crochet into the next double crochet and 2 single crochet into the next, and that's all there is to our repeat. We're going to work 1 single crochet into this next stitch. Insert your hook under the top 2 loops of that stitch and work a single crochet. Insert your hook into the top of that next stitch right under those top 2 strands, and we're going to work 2 single crochet. 1 and 2. That's the end of the repeat. I'll show you one more time. Single crochet into the next double crochet, insert your hook into the top of that next stitch and work a single crochet. Insert your hook into the top of the next stitch under the top 2 strands, and we're going to work 2 single crochet. There's 1 and there's 2. That's the end of the repeat. Single crochet into the next stitch, 2 single crochet into the next stitch. So just go ahead and repeat that around round 3. 1 single crochet into the next stitch and 2 into the next. Repeat that around, and I will meet you at the end of round 3. And we are not going to join, so I will just meet you at the end and show you how to do the next round. I'm over at the end of round 3, and we're no longer going to join. We're going to start marking each round. So we're going to skip this joining bar here. That's not a stitch. We're going to skip that beginning chain 1 here where we chained 1 to start that round, and we're going to insert our hook right underneath the top 2 strands of that first beginning single crochet, and we're going to work a single crochet. Insert into that stitch and work a single crochet. Insert into the next stitch and work a single crochet. I always work 2 stitches because when you work 1 stitch and you're trying to put that stitch marker in there, sometimes it wants to come apart. So I'm just going to take my hook out. I'm coming back to that first stitch, so go back 1, 2 stitches and place a stitch marker in that beginning stitch. Now I just pull a piece of yarn through. That way I can just carry it up with each round and then just pull it out when I'm done with it. So for round 4, all we're going to do is work 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So insert into the next stitch and work a single crochet. Insert into the next stitch and work a single crochet. So go ahead and work 1 single crochet in each stitch around. When you get to the end of the round, you should have a total of 36 single crochet. You can start at your stitch marker and you can count them around. Make sure you have 36 stitches, and I will meet you over here at the end of round 4 when I get my stitches finished. I'm over at the end of round 4. Now this is my stitch marker, don't let that confuse you. I crocheted 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and you should have a total of 36 single crochet stitches. Now I know the video is going faster than what you're doing, so at the end of each repeat, just click that pause button on the video. You can work your stitches, then click it again, and then we can just keep working together around our Santa body and head. So now for round 5, we're going to start, and this is the start of the repeat, we're going to single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So insert into that next stitch and work a single crochet. Insert into the next stitch and work a single crochet. I'm going to take my hook out, I'm going to go back 1, 2 stitches, and I'm going to move my stitch marker up to that first single crochet. So please always remember to move that stitch marker, because I know a lot of times when I get crocheting I'll look down and I forget to move it up, and then I'm trying to follow my stitch up to move it. So it's very important to move that stitch marker as soon as you start that round. We're going to work 2 single crochet into the next stitch, insert into the next stitch, and work 2 single crochet. There's 1, insert into that same stitch, and work your second single crochet. That's the end of your repeat. So let's do it a couple more times together. We're going to single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Insert into the next stitch and work a single crochet. Insert into the next stitch and work a single crochet. We're going to work 2 single crochet into the next stitch, insert into the next stitch, and work 2 single crochet. That's 1, insert into the same stitch, and work your second single crochet. That's the end of your repeat. I'll do it one more time. We're going to single crochet 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. We're going to work 2 single crochet into the next stitch. So insert your hook into the next stitch and work a single crochet. Insert into the next stitch and work a single crochet. Insert into the next stitch and work 2 single crochet. There's 1. Insert into that same stitch and work your second single crochet. So go ahead and repeat that around. 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. Work around and I will meet you at the end of round 5. I'm over at the end of round 5 and this is what your work should look like. So now I'm over to my stitch marker, and now for rounds 6 through 15 we're just going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and we're going to do 10 more rounds of just plain 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So let's begin. We're going to start round 6. We're going to insert into that beginning stitch and work a single crochet. Insert into the next stitch and work a single crochet. Now this is how you're going to start each of the next 10 rounds. They're all going to be the very same thing. So if you need help, click back to the video where we made the first 2 stitches, and then you're going to pull your hook out, move that stitch marker over, or if you're using a traditional stitch marker, go ahead and move that stitch marker up. And then we're just going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And when you got to the end of round 5, I think I forgot to mention, you should have a total of 48 single crochet. So for rounds 6 through 15, you will still have a stitch count of 48 single crochet. Once you make several more rounds, you're going to see how this is going to start forming the tube of his head. It will start doing the, well, that's a little too close. Let me zoom out a little bit. Once you start doing more rounds, then it will start forming the tube for his head. So I'm just going to work a few more stitches. So again, we're just going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch for rounds 6 through 15. So work 10 more rounds of just 1 single crochet in each stitch. I will meet you at the end of round 15 and show you how to join. I'm back. I didn't get my 10 rounds finished yet, but I did want to pop back in, and I'm working on round 10. I need to go to round 15, but I wanted to show you how you can see how it's starting to form the cap, so to speak, the top of the head. It's starting to curve. So your piece should start having this dome look to it. So if your piece looks like this, then you're doing it right. Now I'm going to go ahead and continue with my other 5 rounds, and I'll be back at the end of round 15. I'm over at the end of round 15, and now your little piece to your Santa should look like a hat or a bowl, but you can see how it has the dome shape. You should have a constant total of 48 single crochet in each round. So when you finish, you should have a total of 48 single crochet. So now at the end of round 15, we're going to insert our hook into that first stitch of that round, and we're going to slip stitch. Yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. I'm going to go ahead and fasten off my work. Now I usually chain 2 and pull tight. A lot of people chain 1. I chain 2. That's my preferred method. And then I just pull down tight and it makes a knot. And then I'll weave that in later. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my red, and I'll be right back and we'll get round 16 started. We're getting ready to start, and you can see this is where our stitch marker should be in that very first joining stitch. Now I have my red, and I'm going to leave about a 3 or 4 inch length Insert your hook into that same beginning stitch where your stitch marker is, and you're just going to pull that red through. Now what I'm going to do is well, I need to get that black out of there, but I'm going to grab my red and pink and I'm going to hold it right along my work, and then I'm going to work my stitches in the stitch and around these to actually weave it in as we're crocheting. So we're going to start in chain 1. We're going to insert into that same beginning single crochet and work a single crochet. And for round 16, all we're going to do is work 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So insert your hook into that next stitch and work a single crochet. Insert into the next stitch, and if you can see, my hook is going underneath the strands. I'm yarning over, which this yarn goes over the threads. I'm pulling back through the stitch, and then that covers up these yarn ends. Yarn over and pull through. That's how you weave in those ends of yarn. Insert into the next stitch and work a single crochet. So all we're doing is 1 more round of single crochet around our Santa. So just go ahead and repeat 1 single crochet in each stitch around. I will meet you at the end of round 16 and show you how to join. I'm over at the end of round 16, and again, this is your last stitch, and when you look, this looks like a stitch, but it's not. This is your joining bar. So if you look down, you can see here's your stitch. So when you look at that stitch, you can tell this stitch here, push it together, is on top of that last stitch. So never work in this joining bar. We're going to insert our hook into the top of this beginning single crochet, and we're going to slip stitch around together. Yarn over, pull through, and pull through your loop on your hook. So for rounds 17 and 20, we're just going to work 1 single crochet. So we begin by a chain 1 for this round only. We're going to single crochet into that beginning single crochet, and you're going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Now I forgot to mark my stitch and bring my stitch marker up, so I'm going to pull my hook out and I'm going to count back 1, 2, 3 to that 3rd stitch. I'm going to insert my hook and just grab that yarn, and this is my stitch marker. If you have a traditional stitch marker, you can go ahead and put it in that stitch. So this is round 17, so we need to do 4 more rounds of 1 single crochet in each single crochet, marking each round. Do not join. So go ahead and work 1 single crochet in each stitch around. I will meet you here at the last stitch and show you how to go to the next round. So I'm over at the end of round 17. You can see your last stitch is made into that last stitch, and you have that little joining bar here. So to start and do rounds 18, 19, and 20, we're not going to join. We're just going to keep working our single crochet into the single crochets around. So you're going to skip that joining bar, insert your hook into that first stitch of that round, pull your yarn a little snug, and work your single crochet. And you can see it blends together a little bit nicer because you're blending with the red instead of down here with the pink. So go ahead and continue working 3 more rounds, and make sure you pull that stitch marker into that beginning stitch so you don't lose your spot, and work 3 rounds of 1 single crochet in each single crochet around, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at the end of round 20. I have 1 stitch remaining. Now I took my stitch marker out because it's black and I'm going to be working with black, so I wanted to show you what I was doing. So this is our last stitch. I'm going to go ahead and work a single crochet into that last stitch, and then I'm going to insert into that first stitch, which your stitch marker should be in this stitch, and I'm going to insert my hook. I'm going to grab my new color, which is black. I leave about a 3 or 4 inch length, and I'm just going to pull my black through that stitch and pull through the loop on my hook. I'm just going to pull a little bit on that red, tighten it up, pull a little on my black, and then we're ready to start the next round. We are not going to fasten off the red because we're going to use that in the round after the black, so all we have to do is just pull up on that yarn. So we're going to start round 21 with a chain 1. Now this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. We're going to go ahead and work a half double crochet in each stitch around. So yarn over the hook, you're going to go right back into that same beginning stitch, yarn over, pull back through. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Your beginning half double crochet is made. So yarn over the hook, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through. That's how you do a half double crochet. So all you're going to do is work 1 half double crochet in each stitch around, and just go ahead and work into that last stitch here when you get to the other side of your round, and I will meet you there. So just continue on working 1 half double crochet in each stitch around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 21. So now I worked my half double crochet around my Santa body, and now we're just going to join. We're just going to take that black, come up, and remember, skip that joining bar. That's not a stitch. This is your last stitch, and you can tell because you can see your last stitch, and then this stitch is right in top. So this is the joining bar. So it's a little hard to see because it is black. You're going to skip this chain 1 space here. That does not count as a stitch, and we're going to go right over to the top of that first half double crochet, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. I'm going to go ahead and fasten off. I'm going to secure my end, and then we're getting ready to start round 22. So for round 22, you fastened off your black. You're going to go right back. I know it's hard to see, I'm so sorry. We're going to go right back into the top of that beginning half double crochet right where you fastened off. Insert your hook into that beginning stitch, grab that red that you dropped, and you're just going to pull your red through. You're going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet in each half double crochet stitch around. So it's a pretty basic round. Again, insert into that same beginning stitch and work a single crochet. Insert into the next stitch and work a single crochet. Insert into the next stitch, work a single crochet, and continue working 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and I will meet you at the end of round 22. I'm over at the end of round 22, and I worked 1 single crochet in each half double crochet around, and this black forms his little belt. So now we're just going to go up and join in the top of that beginning single crochet. So insert your hook into the top of that beginning single crochet, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on your hook. Now we're going to start round 23, and we're going to start round 23 with the chain 1. We're going to insert into that same beginning stitch and work a single crochet. And I did forget to move my stitch marker back up because I was working with black, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm just going to pull that yarn right up to mark that first stitch because we are not going to join the rest of our rounds. Now I did, on the instructions, I do see that I made a slight error on rounds 17 through 20. If you are following the instructions, it starts with a chain 1, and that's what we're doing here. We work the first round, join it. The second round we start around with the chain 1 and the single crochets, but we're not going to join. So when you change rounds, you only chain 1 in the beginning of round 17. So if you got a little confused by those instructions, Round 17, you start with the chain 1. Rounds 18, 19, and 20, you just keep single crocheting around. So let's begin with round 23. We're just going to work 1 single crochet in each single crochet around, another basic simple round. So go ahead and work 1 single crochet in each single crochet around, and I will meet you here at the last stitch of round 23, and we'll continue on. I'm over at the end of round 23, and you should have a total of 2 red rounds of stitches above that black round. And we're just going to start our next round by going right into that first stitch. We're not going to join. You're going to insert into the top of that beginning stitch, yarn over, pull through that stitch, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. You just did your first single crochet of round 24. Now you're going to work 4 more rounds of single crochet, and you're going to mark each round. You will not join them. So insert into the next stitch, work a single crochet, come back to that first stitch, move that stitch marker up, and then continue working 1 single crochet in each single crochet around, and you're going to work a total of 4 more rounds. So when you get your 4 more rounds done, you should be at the end of round 27, and I will meet you there. I'm over to the end of round 27, and this completes our Santa head and body. We're going to end with the slip stitch into this first single crochet of that previous round. So insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on your hook. I'm going to go ahead and fasten off. Now I did forget my yarn needle, so you need to weave in your ends. You're just going to pull that end onto the wrong side, pull it back, and weave through the stitches in the back. Now I'm going to pull out my stitch marker, and then I always like to kind of go like that because my yarn does separate those stitches a little. And this will be the back of our Santa. So please excuse my ends. I don't have my yarn needle. So I'm going to stick my hand inside my Santa. Now let me zoom out just a little bit. I'm going to grab some stuffing. I'm using the polyfill, and I'm just going to stick, I got a handful, well that might be too much, I'm going to take a little out. So you take a handful of the stuffing and you're just going to stuff it right up into his head, and that helps form his head. And then I have my mega roll of toilet paper. Now this is Angel Soft. I did get a comment of somebody who said their stores don't sell the mega rolls. Now this is Angel Soft. It's a mega roll, and it was purchased at Walmart. So I'm hoping that if my Walmart sells it, I'm hoping your Walmart sells it as well. So that's the mega roll. And then we're just going to stick our Santa right over top our roll of toilet paper. You're going to pull him down. It fits nice and snug, and you want to pull it so the bottom comes down over that roll of toilet paper. So part 1 of our Santa crochet along is finished, and make sure that if his head is not firm, now this is dipping in a little, I don't like that. I don't know if you can see it right there. Now I don't like that, so I'll probably put just a little bit more because I want his head to be nice and full and fat. I just, you know, but you have to make sure that the bottom still comes down over the toilet paper. If you get too much, then it won't come down. So you just have to work with it. This is part 1. I hope you enjoyed this. Now I'm going to start on the next part, and we're going to be doing the arms and the hair for his beard and his hair for up on the back of his head. That will be part 2. So in the meantime, if you want to make several of these, you can go ahead and get your head and body worked. You can make them in an assembly line and just make a couple of these up until I get the second part of the video done. And I'll try to get them done and uploaded as fast as I can so you can get these made for Christmas. I think they're just so cute and they'll make wonderful gifts. So thank you everyone for stopping by. We'll continue with part 2, so watch for that video. And until then, happy crocheting everyone.